This is an SM Media production. Hi folks, welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's a pleasure as always to be your host, and I'm delighted to be joined by my co-host as always. It's a pleasure to have on Scott Young.
Yeah, Scott, cheers for having us on. I'm looking forward to this one.
It's a pleasure, mate. I'm looking forward to this as well. We did the preview show for Survivor Series and we kept saying, what if, what if, what if? And it happened. And against all odds, it happened. We'll dissect, obviously, the big return. I want to say before we go on, Triple H did steal my thunder. I was ready to come on here when we did the review show and say, we're here to talk about the big return. It's a pleasure to welcome back R-Truth, but he stole my thunder. But it's so big. I mean, it's something I didn't think we'd ever see him back. Like, honestly, I didn't think we'd ever see him back in WWE. Just the way it ended, just kind of what the way kind of WWE went down as well. It feels surreal, but it's a good surreal.
Surreal's the best word. Even watching Raw last night and seeing it all on Twitter, it didn't look right. It didn't look real. You kind of seen him there, even holding the mic with the WWE logo on it, didn't look real. It was just, and even the picture I think he put up or Triple H put up of they two backstage. Yeah, it feels like some sort of fever dream that we never thought would happen. But no, I'm happy he's back. I think I will get into it, but I think there's a lot of ways they can go.
Yeah.
And his promo sort of left it open for interpretation, really.
Yeah. I mean, we do have a week and a thing planned. Obviously, we're going to try and fantasy book him to WrestleMania. But as a whole, even before the big return of CM Punk, and Survivor Series was really good. Like, it obviously becomes probably a top WWE event of all time just because of the way it ended. But every match was solid. I thought the two War Games matches were really good. Gunther and Miz was brilliant. And it was, I mean, even without CM Punk, it was probably one of the best events of the year.
Someone made a comparison, I think, spot on. Do you remember Extreme Rules 2022? A solid show.
Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt at the end, and that's all people want to talk about. I think it's similar to that because no one's coming out of the show really. I feel sorry for the guy, but no one's coming out of the show talking about Randy Orton.
No.
Randy Orton's one of my favourites, but no one's talking about Randy Orton really.
No.
And no one's really talking about the good match that Miz and Gunther had. No one really talking about Escobar Dragon Lee, which is I thought was a bit short, but still quite good.
It was good for what it was, yeah.
Aye. You know what everyone's talking about Punk, and understandably as well. Like Triple H loves a copyright logo, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there was, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was like, we had spoke about like, oh, if Punk comes out early in the event, if he was to come back, would he come out for the Nakamura thing? We've seen the direction that's going down. The way it was done was perfect. Like, as you say, the Bray Wyatt, like, there was no other way to bring Bray Wyatt out last year, and it's the same here. Like, it didn't step on the match. Do you know what I mean? It was happened after, like, we thought the show was over. Everybody was, some of the reactions you saw on like TikTok and things like that are exactly what you felt like they were. They were just like, I made the mistake of being on Twitter just before the end of the match and seeing Sean Ross Sapp's tweet. And that was I think that kind of spoiled it a wee bit, but I thought then, I said, there's nobody else they're doing that for, and he's the kind of spot on guy now. I would say it used to be kind of like some Meltzer and Mike Johnson. Now I would say it's him. So when he says something, it's 99% bang on. So when that happened, I was like, yeah, we kind of know here.
Yeah, I checked. I actually watched it. I think I told you that I watched it in the bus going to Pittodrie on Sunday morning. So I was off Instagram. I opened up Facebook slightly and saw something about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I just thought it was like a fake picture that someone had mocked up.
Yeah.
So I kind of put that to the back of my
It's the
mind when I
white
saw it.
T-shirt as well, isn't it? It's just plain.
Aye,
It's like it feels surreal, but no, I mean, it's one of those moments that we'll remember. Like it is. It's regardless of how long the run is, we have that moment now. We have him back in a WWE ring. It feels right now, and like, what did you make after like sort of the reactions? Obviously, the one reaction that's gathering attention is Seth Rollins. I don't know what Michael Cole thinks he's going to do if it's real, because Michael Cole's the last guy I would want covering that up. It's obviously an angle, isn't it? There's no way that there's. I think what makes it feel real though is that what he says in the video and what his hand gestures are, that makes it feel real. But I think now we're in a different form of what we were like three. I don't think that happens under Vince McMahon, for example. But I think we're in a different landscape now where that sort of thing could be. You can get away with that now.
yeah. I think I think it's pretty clear Seth and Punk. I don't think they like each other very much,
No.
but I think they're both professional enough
Yeah.
that they can walk around it and get a great telly out it, unlike some other people in the other place that for some reason couldn't walk around it.
No.
I think Triple H is smart enough and almost bitter enough that he can say, right, these two don't like each other, but are going to work on like
Yeah.
the Bucks and Omega did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that being his mindset because I think he's that kind of guy.
But you know, think that's why this works though, is because there is a guy there who, and I'm not going to dig out Tony Khan all episode, but I think he looks horrendous now. Like, I really do. I think him and the entire kind of team at AEW, they've now thrown away a big opportunity, and that WWE reap the rewards for. But Triple H is there. He's obviously been in the ring. He's worked with Punk in the past, despite their personal dealings. They know they must now that, like, there's no way they've came to an agreement without some sort of plan in place, and so I think that's all down to Triple H. I don't think Ari Emanuel even knew.
No, I think Triple H said the only folk that knew were him and Nick Khan.
Yeah,
And I think Kevin Dunn probably would have known because he had to play the music.
I would have thought so. Yeah,
but that's probably the only obviously Punk as well. I think the only four people that knew.
I did have a wee chuckle when I saw Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon was in the crowd for the women's war games. I don't know if she has for the men's. I would have loved to
she was in the crowd the full night.
If she was in the crowd and didn't know he was coming out, what would that have said? She must have knew.
Aye, surely. I think just go back to your point about Tony. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think they had much of a choice but to sack him.
No, I know.
I think they kind of had to.
Yeah.
But I think Tony's role in the press conference, Tony sitting there is, I think, it's embarrassing. That's what I'd use for it. You've got, imagine if Punk was sat next to Triple H or Vince or even Steph.
He wouldn't have done it.
How differently do you think that press conference goes out?
Yeah.
He would probably start his rant, but I think they would all cut him off and tell him to leave. Because Tony, I think Tony being a wrestling fan hasn't helped him.
No.
In general, Tony being a big CM Punk fan kind of clouded his judgment of what was right and what wasn't. And letting your top star sit in a presser and slaughter your EVPs and your other top star and Hangman Page and just sitting there doing nothing about it. I think it's embarrassing is what I use for it.
But it's that as well, like, and I've made this argument a lot for a long, long time. Giving those guys EVPs to begin with, whether they contribute, I don't know what. Like, as I say, I don't know what they contribute to the company in terms of literally. It seems to be a bit of a like too many. I've said that it seems to be too many cooks, and the person in control isn't strong enough. Whereas I think WWE now is the opposite. Is that Triple H is in control to the point where Vince, well, as we say, it looked as if Vince was coming back after WrestleMania, and then he seems to have disappeared again. So there is definitely more of a structure in WWE, but the problem I think the problem has always been you give four to begin with, but then obviously Cody left, and now you could argue Cody has went on to another level since he left AEW. But given those guys EVP roles, is that no, they are, because of the title, they're going to feel they're better than the biggest star. So again, it's kind of he didn't help himself.
No, did you see what Kenny said? This was ages ago. Kenny sat in a sort of roster meeting and said, "I wouldn't have signed 80% of you."
Yeah, exactly.
To the entire roster, 8 out of 10 of you wouldn't be here if I've had the decision. And that's, to me, just some. I don't know whether it was sort of tongue in cheek, so maybe joking, because Kenny's that kind of guy. But to say that, I don't think it's great for roster.
Do you not think do you not think as well now, like Cody's made the leap, now Punk's made the leap. Jade Cargill's, I suppose, different in terms of she has only worked in AEW, she's no WWE background, but even before she's got in a ring, she looks, do you know what I mean? They've made her look and feel like $1 million. So do you think that more, like, apparently there's a lot of guys up for contract next year. Do you think seeing Punk going there and everything seeming to be rosy, and the way Cody's been booked and the way they've pushed Jade already, like, as to the moon before she's even stepped in, that tide is turning again?
Oh, you say that, but AEW managed to get Osprey ahead of WWE. They managed to poach, like, Edge, for example.
Yeah, I think Edge is different in terms of
NXT.
Yeah, I think Edge is probably different in terms of he kind of felt he'd done everything he can in WWE, whereas you look like Andrade, just for example. Has he really been put? Like Miro, are they any better off than they were in WWE?
No, I think it's a difficult one. I think obviously I will get close more into Punk, but on the terms of folk, I think you'll see a lot of folk going both directions next year. So a lot of contracts up.
Yeah.
I think Sheamus is up. I can see him jumping ship. Drew's sort of up in the air really at the moment. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he went up re-signing, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Drew Galloway is all elite next year.
Yeah,
And
possibly.
from the other way, you've got QT Marshall's just left. He seems like an NXT kind of guy to me.
Yeah. He's got that personal relationship with Cody. Yeah. But no, I mean
and then you've got like Ricky Starks as well. He's up soon.
He's WWE. He's a WWE type, isn't he?
Aye.
Yeah.
Who knows about MJF? I reckon he's resigned, but you never know with these kind of things. MJF could pop up in the Rumble.
In a way, it's a good thing as well, because like Tony will be using this now. This is his chance. He needs something to. I mean, crowds are down, ratings are really down. I don't know what Raw did on Monday, but I think that'll be a high for Raw in terms of what they've had in the past even few years. And ratings have been good recently in terms. I remember a couple of years ago Raw being like a 1. You know what I mean? And now it's way higher than that. So ratings are up. AEWs are really down. But the thing as well is, even thinking that, when you said it as well, he thought it was a good idea to put Collision and Rampage against Survivor Series with the potential of CM Punk, Collision was basically made for, turning up in the other show. That's bought it. Again, what is that?
I think it's. Put it this, I wouldn't be shocked if CM Punk's on NXT when they're coming up against Dynamite.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
I think Punk's a stick on it. Punk v Braun Breaker's a stick on next year, I think. But I just thought back to your point about, I don't know what Tony was thinking. I think Tony seems to think that, I don't know if it's delusion. Don't know if delusion's the right word. Might seem a bit harsh, but that's something I can think of, to think that he's gonna get anywhere near close to maybe Punk Survivor Series. Although I don't know if Tony thought Punk was going to show at all. But it was a strange decision, and I've not even seen the numbers yet. What it got, I think
I haven't seen them either, but I'd imagine it'd be fairly high.
if they have 500K, then I think it's a miracle.
Yeah, but again, it's given us an exciting look ahead. Like obviously, we saw Raw. We watched Raw before we come on here. Cody's announced himself for the Rumble. Nakamura has revealed he's attacking Cody. That seems to be Cody's tied up until Mania. That's what I would say. That seems to be the plan now. Cody's tied up with Nakamura. He's going to be sorted until the Rumble.
Yeah, it's a solid. It's not the worst view in the world to just tie him
Nah.
over really until it's. I'm not. He could have done worse with him. They could have stuck him. Could have kept him on the Judgment Day, which would have been bad.
Yeah.
Just keep him in there. Nakamura, they could probably have a decent couple matches on Raw. But no, I think it's a decent. I think it's not the worst feud to tie him over until hopefully wins the Rumble.
Yeah. I told you after I managed to get a bet on CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble at 5-1. He's now 6-4. So somebody's
I still reckon it's Cody's Rumble.
Could be. They've obviously got the Chamber in Australia, which could be interesting as well. Could they maybe have Punk? I think the only two that can win it for me now are Cody and Punk, and I know that like Gunter I thought was a contender as well, but I think now I don't see them doing anything other than Rollins Punk at Mania. And not for the reason like I wouldn't be surprised if Rollins wins, like as daft as that sounds, because I think CM Punk's only there to get his what he said. He said this is the biggest disappointment of his career, not getting a WrestleMania main event. So I think even main eventing night one with Seth Rollins for the World Championship and Rollins wins is enough for Punk. So that could be that's the way I think it will go.
If you have Punk, you have to have him hold the title.
You do.
I think you've got, or maybe when the title sticks a big X to it. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd have loved if he'd come out with a bag and it was like he didn't even reveal it, and it was that would have been good as
Although
well.
I was reading just before we came on, that one of the reports was saying that Punk wants to forget AEW, and he doesn't really want to reference it at all.
No, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I can see Seth referencing it, but
yeah,
like Seth gets gear that he like in some matches, like the Roman Shield gear. If he's Cody, come out the polka dots. Imagine he turns up to this a Young Buck.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? That
with the streamers and the headband and the multicoloured everything.
That would be good. But do you think could he potentially work a match? Like, we still don't know at this point if he's going to be there every week. I would be surprised if he's there every week, because it doesn't really need to be. Do you know what I mean? Like it can. I don't think he does. I think Raw's fine.
I think you keep him not every week, but every few weeks.
Yeah.
You know the way, obviously before this year, Roman used to do.
Yeah.
He used to turn up like once every 2 or 3 weeks. I think do that, but sort of keep him as a special attraction. I do think Punk Seth is your Mania match.
Mm-hmm.
I would hold off. I'd put Punk in the Rumble. I would give him a sort of spectacle in Australia. But apart from that, I wouldn't have him wrestle on TV. I would keep him until, unless you do like tag matches, which you can't see them doing, I'd keep him until Rumble. I'd have my first match be either at the Rumble or in the Rumble.
Did you do something? Listen to this for a theory. What do you think of this? Priest cashes in the next couple of weeks. They do Priest and Rollins at Rumble, and Priest wins. So you can have Rollins and Punk in the Rumble, and they have some sort of thing where they eliminate each other, and then Rollins wins it back at Elimination Chamber.
I think that's just hot potato and for the sake of a moment.
I know, but
yeah, I mean, the way they done it with Roman under Vince.
Yeah.
where Brock won it off Big E, and then Brock lost it to Lashley, and Brock won it back. Brock lost it at Lashley, so Roman could have cost him, and then Brock won it back in the chamber. Then you get Brock Roman at Mania. I would just hot potato for the sake of
Yeah.
it, and that's what that sounds like to me. I think you give Punk, I think you give Rollins the just have him hold it, have him doing your matches. You get Jey so much next week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be through at the Rumble probably.
Possibly, yeah.
And then then you can just do matches on Raw, maybe a Chad Gable, maybe a Johnny Gargano, people like that. Just give them 15, 20 minutes on Raw having great matches, and then do Punk at Mania, and Punk can win it, and we'll go for there.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's exciting, isn't it? Like it's and another thing, like it's obviously Punk wanted to work with a certain group in AEW. Like his first match was Darby Allin. He wanted to work with like Powerhouse Hobbs. He'd other kind of match. Like he would have matches with anybody. Like, do you know what I mean? He'd Eddie Kingston. Like there's so many matches he can have. Like AJ and Punk and AJ we can have as well. Things like that. Like he's not. I don't think he's ever worked Gargano. I don't think he's worked Ciampa. Owens was obviously come in after he left. So there's plenty they can do. I think
Punk
there's
Gunther.
Yeah, that as well.
Aye.
There's so much that I don't think it's a long-term thing though. I don't think we're going to have maybe like similar to what like Edge has done. Edge was there for like 3 years and was there quite a lot. I don't think it's going to be as long-term as that. I think it'll be if he's there
It's a
till Mania
multi-year deal,
next year.
apparently.
Yeah,
I don't know what multi-year deal means.
do you think that's more a case of like protecting him, like maybe what like they did with Edge at the time was like keep him there, and if he only has a short-term run in WWE, keep him as like an ambassador. You know what I mean? Because he's
So where's
still
he go? Because I can't see him go back. He's not going back to AEW anytime soon.
nah.
And they're the ones that can afford them.
Did you see the sign for? Did you see the sign behind him when he was in the rope on Monday?
No.
It was like "Cry Me a River" Punk.
Oh, there'll be some form of glass spot or something
Yeah,
along those lines.
yeah. Do you think
probably
AEW bring it
won't
up on Wednesday? Do you think it gets mentioned in Dynamite?
MJF will mention it probably.
I think so.
Because MJF's the kind of guy. MJF's the kind of guy and get away with mentioning it.
Yeah.
The Bucks aren't on telly at the moment. Omega might.
Yeah.
Omega and Jericho, they didn't like Punk, so they might say
Jericho get mentioned at Survivor Series as well. Did you hear it?
That's the first time they mentioned it.
Yeah.
He's another one I can easily see going back.
Yeah.
See, before Cody, everyone was asking who's going to be the first for AEW jump ship. I said Jericho. Because I heard this was when Vince was still in charge. Jericho loves Vince.
Yeah.
If you hear Jericho in interviews, he raves about Vince. All the older guys, they all love him. Edge, Cena, Jericho, Batista, people like that, they all loved Vince. Both they Punk, didn't they?
Do you think Vince had any input in this?
No. Because if Vince had any input, Punk wouldn't have turned up.
Well, that was the thing. Do you remember as well when they said was he not backstage a couple of maybe it was longer?
Yeah, he was backstage at a Raw and he met The Miz and he met Triple H and it was Vince who told him to get out.
Yeah. So that to me, like as I say, I don't think it happens if Vince is anywhere near there.
No.
I think Vince has been phased out completely. But no, it's exciting. And another return I want to touch on was obviously Randy's coming back, and I thought they did it perfectly with him as well. Have you thinking, oh, he might not be the fifth man, but then you see his wife in the background. You're thinking, yeah, he's turning up.
Aye.
Did it right. He was there for as long as he needed to be. Great spot. The RKO with McDonough was brilliant. He comes out next night in a neck brace. They do the match with him and Mysterio. The segment with Ripley was really good. And he can be someone as well who can be in this other angle. He might be the next, he's obviously going to go down the bloodline direction. I wouldn't be surprised if it's him and Roman at Rumble.
Maybe Roman and him at Rumble and then Roman. I think maybe him and AJ are Roman's next two opponents. I think one will be Australia and one will be in the Rumble. It depends on what order you want to do.
Or him and Solo at Mania.
No, I think it's Cody. or wrote
Solo and
Randy and
Randy,
Solo.
the new
That
legend
says
killer, like something like that. Like
maybe. I think they're not the worst shout actually. I think there's a Randy Cody feud there
no,
somewhere.
that could be a lot. That would be that writes itself as well. There's
That's
so
a
many.
that's a post Mania one.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do here.
Mania card looks great.
Yeah,
Like you've got your it's just in the both men's and women's side. There's so many possibilities. Like I want to see Gunther Brock. Can I just get that? Get Gunther Brock.
Brock comes back.
Yeah, Mike Brock's in the Rumble. Gunther eliminates Brock in the Rumble, and that's your Mania match. Maybe for the IC title.
Yeah,
Because that Brock going for the IC title will be fun.
yeah.
Then you've got like Logan Paul, LA Knight, you get
Yeah.
Punk Rollins, you get Roman Cody. You could have Solo Randy, that was a good shout.
Rhea Becky.
Women's side, you get Rhea Becky, Charlotte Bianca, Charlotte Jade Bianca. And then there's a lot of ways you can go.
How good did
Jimmy J as well.
How good did they make the Creed brothers look last night?
Oh, outstanding. They were all I wasn't a big I watch NXT. I've only recently got back into NXT. I kind of started watching it with 2.0 and the sort of Nickelodeon style thing. And they were the two that stood out. The similarity between them and American Alpha are night and day.
Yeah.
They're not night and day, sorry, the opposite night and day. They're so similar between them and American Alpha, and you can see that. Aye, that'll be good. And then you get Finn to be lying backstage with Priest. Priest, when you watch the Creed brothers, they look good. Just small things like that from someone like Finn can make a team in the eyes of the casuals as well.
Yeah, no, it was good. There was a lot. I thought the turmoil match was good. I thought there was like they didn't do much until like even like Zoe Stark. I don't know why they had her lose the way she did. Like
unless you're doing Nia Rhea at the Rumble, which is the only reason I can think of.
Nah, I don't know.
Which I don't want to see, don't it, Bailey?
I don't.
I'm not. I've never been a big Nia Jax fan.
Nah.
And it was a massive viral when she came back.
Nah, but again, like go back to Punk as well. It's as exciting as you say. Like it just opens up so many different avenues, and we're excited. Do you know what I mean? It's so refreshing because as you say, we've lived through the kind of past few years of the Vince days where it was horrendous. It was torrid. It was like, do you know what I mean? I'd never enjoyed watching Raw, but now.
No.
I thought last night it was really good. I thought there was so much, as you say, just so many wee gems in there, but everything was building to this main event, and it didn't need to be. You know what I mean? It was perfect. They had the wee mention of AJ, which I thought was good. I doubt she comes back wrestling. I think she's done.
I can see a Rumble cameo.
She could do something like that. But
what did you make of his promo? Because I don't want to anticlimactic. Sounds harsh. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought they would have had Seth interrupt. That's what I thought it was going to end.
I just thought it was fine for what it was. Like it was like he made I didn't expect him to come out and say like I'm home, because I don't think I know he said it. He said like it's not him saying things like that, but it was the nice we mentioned like the wise man and like the American dream. I love things like that because they're definitely things that he's probably said to himself. You can imagine him and Heyman have been talking constantly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of hope we see something like that. Like, I kind of hope we just see them have some sort of communication.
I see that I'm home line. I think that's the most interesting line you said, because that feeds into the Seth feud. If Seth calling Punk a hypocrite, because WWE made Punk, and the story was, but Punk was always a Ring of Honor guy before.
Yeah.
And that even as the AEW promo, you said, I left wrestling in 2005 when I left, was it 2005?
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, it would have been in there.
I left wrestling 2005 when I left Ring of Honor. And now he's saying he's home in WWE. That goes back to what Seth saying about being a hypocrite. So I think we'll get that line sort of fed into the Seth Punk feud.
What do you make of, like, we obviously spoke about it there, like Seth's kind of post-match stuff. Like, they obviously knew, they had to have known, because I don't think you tell any of them. You have to tell them before they go on. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't just throw that on them, because, like, Drew leaving as well. Drew, I don't know what the story is there, because that looks to me like you see the cameraman kind of waving him along, kind of thing. But apparently, he just get in his locker room and left with a hoodie on. So there's weight. Do they know now that everything is just like reported on? Like, is there no? Are they playing up to the fact that we know like what's happening? There's video cameras there and things like that. People are filming it on their phones, because it did seem as much as it definitely is a work. Seth Rollins flipping the bird and saying he's going to kill that MFer. Do you know what I mean?
I think the Seth one's a more interesting one in terms of, I think everything that Seth did and said at the end of that is his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said before, I think Seth's kind of guy who's going to work through it.
Yeah.
You could even spin off Seth talking about Moxley, because Punk, because Moxley hasn't felt the same since the Punk feud, really.
Nah.
Because he had that squash match on Dynamite, then he lost it all out, and then Moxley kind of didn't do it. He kind of didn't really do much after that. So you could spin that as well, because obviously Punk had the Instagram story as well, where he ranted about Moxley, and so you could do something like that. And the Drew one, I don't know what to make of the Drew one, because I was sort of trying to find anything that he said, but Drew's a very good media guy.
Yeah.
Where he's
He always
very
has
down
been.
the middle,
Yeah.
on the nose. Like, I know folk that have interviewed Drew before for their various websites, and they've all said he's a great interview, but he's very media safe. So he's never really said his true feelings about Punk, and they've never really worked together. Like, Drew was sort of a lower mid card when Punk was your main events. So I don't really know where that stems from. Maybe it's just a case of Drew's not happy that there's someone else in to take his spot.
Did he think he
Maybe
was
it's
maybe
something as
getting
simple as
Mania?
that.
Like, did he think he was maybe getting that Mania match
Maybe.
or something like that? But they'll reap that's what I'm saying. They'll reap the rewards, because Punk at WrestleMania 10 years after he was supposed to. Do you know what I mean? He was supposed to beat Triple H. So things like that, like 10 years, they can build on that. Like, do you know what I mean?
10
They can
years
have
today, Colt Cabana podcast.
exactly, and you look at that thing of, from there he ends up in it. Do you know what I mean? That podcast is kind of the reason he leaves AEW when you think about it.
Aye.
Because if they don't do that podcast, he doesn't fall out with Colt Cabana.
Aye. It all blends into one.
But he says something like in that, like, he hasn't done much in terms of interviews, really. Like, he hasn't done much apart from that. Like, you haven't really heard them really go after WWE. I don't think he will with AEW. I think he'll.
I think he's under NDA.
Yeah. Same with
Which I
Cody
think
as
that
well.
was
We'll
part of
never find out
his.
what happened with Cody. It was the same when did you watch the documentary that Cody did?
I watched parts of it. Is it? I don't think it was on our network. I think it was just
No,
on Peacock.
yeah. But he says, like, I will only speak positively at what I can say. I'll say positive about AEW. I just think Cody always thought he would end up back.
Yeah. Did she Cody's presser?
Yeah, that was
He
brilliant.
put the glasses on
That
and
was
went, that's
brilliant.
that's the EVP in me.
That's brilliant.
And then you banned status and like, oh, move on quick.
That's brilliant, isn't it? But it's so intriguing. Like, the next few weeks, as I say, I think it's a good thing that they got rid of the December pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And we can have this long build to the Rumble.
Yeah.
Because there's so much they can do. Do you know what I mean? Punk could come out next week and say, I'm declaring for the Royal Rumble. It was 10 years since I had my moment stolen from me, my main event stolen. Like they can do you know what I mean? They can use real life, and I think Triple H is the sort of one who'll go with that, because he did leave because he wasn't getting a big WrestleMania match. So he's back. They can say, like, I'm here. If I don't win the Royal Rumble, then I've failed, and he can win the chase. Something like he can. I don't think it's going to come. I don't think it'll come down to like him and Cody in the Rumble
No,
kind of thing. I think there'll be some sort of, if it's him and Cody, if they both end up in the Royal Rumble, they do something
I think you could have a bit of fun in the Rumble, because I think, was it Kane? Was Kane the one who concussed him?
Kane was the one that pulled him out.
2014.
Yeah,
You could easily like have Kane in the Rumble and
yeah,
have Punk eliminate Kane, something like that.
yeah.
And I don't
That'd
know
be
if
very good.
Kane. I don't think Kane's best in the eyes of the
I
public
think he's
anymore.
too happy being Donald Trump's best friend.
Aye, everyone hates him. So some of the tweets he puts out, like,
Yeah,
I love how he. I think Glenn Jacobs is worse person than Kane, and I think Kane done.
I know. But again, we did think we would maybe the return of CM Punk would maybe see a retirement. Ryback, did you see Ryback's thing?
Oh, the guy's he's
He's
such a
lost his mind, but
clever businessman. No,
it's good.
he's smashed it. He's basically said, if I don't, if Punk returns, I'll retire. First of all, he's not had a match since 2018, so I think he's already retired. But if Punk come back, I retire. He goes, no, I meant AEW. Now buy my thing. So he's got this, is that protein powder or something like that he's got?
Yeah. You see what he
So
calls
he's
him?
got that. Aye. Oh, what is it?
Fragile Phil.
Aye.
Like, again, it's just playing to this thing. I mean,
Right back to AEW.
Ryback's never going to end up in WWE. As
No.
the AEW low, like they tried, and like this wasn't the way to do it. Like they obviously had Tony Khan doing an interview on Monday, and he was asked about the all-in pre-sale. Of course, he was. Is this a thing though that is there anybody there kind of telling him what to do? Like if you go on an interview on Monday, you're going to get asked about CM Punk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you not just say, right, let's not ask the question or something? Do you know what I mean? It's not.
I know, all I know is that if you ask, so I've got a journalism degree, so if I say I'm interviewing X, Y, Z, and they said to me, I don't want to be asked about this, then yeah, I think you should have to ask it anyway, because it's an integrity thing. For journalists don't like to be told what they can't be asked
Yeah,
about.
I get that.
But I think if it is a legal NDA thing, I do think Tony, and don't say perfectly, but I think Tony answered it best he could.
Yeah, there's not
I
much
can't
else you
speak
can
about
say.
it, but buy these tickets.
Yeah, there's not much else you can say.
He knows that clip's going to go viral when he gets asked about CM Punk. It's like similar to the Ryback thing. Ryback saying, I'm not retired because I said AEW. Now buy this thing, because he knows that folk are going to look at his tweets after it, after he put that retirement thing up. So Tony's doing the same thing. Tony's like, well, I can't say this, but I'm going to plug this because folk want to hear me talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fair. It's one of those things. Like again, there's not much you can say, but he's going to get asked it anyway. He's going to. Do you know what I mean? He's not. He can obviously control the narrative he's in his own promotion, like. But I just think I don't think it helps AEW, because again, it just looks like Punk's been fired and went to a better organisation. Like, and that is that's to me the big difference between WWE and AEW. There's probably not much difference in terms of what they can pay, but at WWE there now just seems to be such a better structure. I mean, they've got they know, like, do you know what I mean? It's Cody's there. Cody's been arguably the biggest face they've got now.
Aye,
do you know what I mean?
Biggest face since Cena.
Yeah,
even before Cena, because they couldn't have done Cody yet.
Yeah.
Is it too far to say biggest face since Austin?
I think organically, yes, because I think with the first couple of years of Cena, they tried, like, obviously it was a reason he was pushed to the top, but Cody's just natural. Do you know what I mean? He's natural, easy to like. But have they missed the boat with Cody? Will it feel the same when he wins, if he wins at WrestleMania? The
I
last
think
year?
it will, because I still think he should have won last year.
Yeah.
But I also think this year, if it is him and Roman, which it probably it should be, but maybe the Punk Roman, who knows? But if it is Cody Roman, it's got that more unpredictability about it, which makes it more exciting. Because last year, everyone kind of thought it was a stick on that Cody was winning.
Yeah.
I think
I thought the moment for me was when he gave Luke Harper's son the belt. That's when I think that he's not losing now.
aye, give
Like,
Brody Jr. the belt. Aye,
you know, I
I
thought there was
think
no way he was losing to there.
everything about that match was perfect until the result. You had
Yeah.
Roman's entrance with his 6 grand pianos, the final
Yeah.
boss level. Cody bring back the Cody Vader, handing his belt to Brody Jr., having his kid obviously with the headphones and stuff on,
Mhm.
because obviously it must have been too loud for her and stuff like that. It's almost perfect, and the match
And it was
itself
the thing, like the whole thing was
great.
about the story, finishing the story. Where's the best stories made? Hollywood.
Aye, stuff
And
like that. Yeah,
it just didn't. Like, I was gutted when he lost because it would
so
have
was
been.
I.
It was
I
like
wasn't. I
it would
wasn't
have been a
angry.
perfect story.
I was kind of just shocked more than anything. I didn't expect it. That's what I'm saying about this year. This year gives that more unpredictable sense to it, which I think you always need unpredictability.
And he's not going to lose again. You know what I mean? They're not
Aye.
going to do it. Like if they do Roman and Cody, they're not going to have him lose a second time. And if he is going to lose a second time, then we know Roman's holding that title until
Forever.
the Bruno run.
Aye.
Like,
So it's another 6 years or something.
but there's reports coming out like recently. I don't know if you've seen them. I don't know if
The
they're true or
Hogan
not.
stuff.
Yeah, like Roman maybe hasn't got much time left in terms of his run. And I think there's something he's only wrestled 10 matches this year. Like,
Don't think it's few as that. I think it may be 10 on. I think it might only be like 11. It's no far off 10 anyway.
yeah.
But
He's only what?
he's only defended the title like what 5 times.
Well, think about it. Royal Rumble. Did he what? He worked obviously. He worked Royal Rumble.
He worked Owens at
elimination.
Rumble,
Owens at Rumble.
Sammy at Chamber,
Sammy at
Cody
Chamber.
at Mania. Then he had the 2 tag matches. He had the tag match night champion against KO and Sammy.
Yeah.
Then he had the tag match in London against the Usos.
Usos, Jay Money, SummerSlam,
And he had a couple of house show matches in there as well.
and LA
And then he
Knight.
also had LA Knight. Aye. I think did he have a match on SmackDown?
I think it might have worked a tag with LA Knight.
What was that tag, him and Sammy v KO and Cena?
Was that not
Was
New
that
Year's?
this year?
Was that New Year's Eve last year?
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think
Aye.
it was like New Year. I might have been, but again, like we saw with Survivor Series, not every big 5 pay-per-view needs them anymore. There's
No.
enough going on.
Aye.
Like no, but it's
Still,
just-
I think SmackDown need him, but
yeah,
because Raw at the moment, if you look at Raw's talking about SmackDown, it's been advertised Randy's going to be at SmackDown, and that's good because he was speaking about he wants to fight the Bloodline. So him at SmackDown going to be good, but SmackDown needs some people. They've not got Logan Paul. They've not got a champion.
I think
They've
Logan
got- they've
Paul's
not got a male
advertised for
champion.
Friday. I think he's advertised to be on
Is
Friday.
he?
I think so, yeah.
You get Logan Paul's a part timer. You get Roman as a part timer. That's our top 2 champs. Not there. Get damage control stuff, which is very interesting at the moment.
Yeah.
You've
But what is
got-
the biggest story in SmackDown now? Like,
It's damage control.
yeah, it's not. I mean, LA Knight and the Bloodline, but there's nothing really like.
No, there's nothing to get your teeth into.
Nah, as you say, but like Ray's out. Do you know what I mean? Ray's. But we'll wrap up the show there, Scott. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
No, yeah, Scott, cheers, Amazon, yeah.
Thank you
Enjoyed
very
this.
much, everyone. We'll see you all soon. Cheers.